Hi there. This week, I just want to talk about self-worth, my self-worth, um, especially lately, this last week, or just over the weekend, bank holiday weekend. Um, I learnt something. Well, part of it I already knew, um, to do. This is to do with my job that I do for my family business. Um, and that is the company van insurance has gotten higher. It's quite high because I've had a few accidents since I've been doing the job, and it gets me really down. That you know, due to those unfortunate events that I've had, has led to the insurance premium on the company insurance van to be very high. However, on the weekend just gone, my niece stayed over at her granddad's on the weekend, and they were having a conversation about me and my job and that, etc. Not just with my dad's wife, and they mentioned something to her. And of course, my niece, I'm very close with my niece, and she told me what they were talking about, and that's when I got upset, and I just felt really low, because I just don't know what to do. But that what she told me was that apparently it's so high that if I was to have one more accident, I will become uninsurable, and obviously I'll be out of a job because I won't be able to be insured. And this is a fear of mine, really. This is always a fear, a big worry of mine, because I should have never accepted the job to drive the van in the first place. I wish I hadn't, but I did because it was all sort of like hush hush, very, just it all happened very quickly. I felt like I didn't really get to process the job, and whether it was right for me. It just happened all far too quickly. So, and of course, it's been over 5 years now since I've been doing the job, and of course, since then, I was able to buy myself a flat, which is only thanks to Till Flooring, because they were paying me self-employed, but then they put me on PAYE for 3 months to help me get a mortgage. And I do realise and how privileged and appreciate being in that position to being helped to be able to get in, to have that, done for me. But it makes me, so I kind of feel guilty because of it, and I kind of wish I'd never had bought this flat that I'm sitting in right now, because I don't know, I just feel, I kind of feel low, really. It's not as low as I was when I was a youngster, when I first left school and stuff, my self-worth, because I was a different kind of sort of person, self-worth then. And of course, I was undiagnosed then, but of course now, I'm a little bit better. I've become a little bit better, but my self-worth is still not great, and it's sometimes it can be up and down. My self-worth, feeling, my self-esteem, feeling good about myself, then I don't feel good about myself. So that what she told me last weekend, that really got me down. So yeah, but I've calmed down. This was a couple of days ago, she told me. And yeah, I just yeah, sorry, someone rang me then, but I'll just move on. It's about my job, wasn't it, or something? Yeah. Oh, fucking noises. Fucking a lot of noises going on today. I've never been able to. I've never really been able to get a proper job throughout my whole 20s. Yeah, I only ever managed to get just a small part-time job. You know, when I left school, I went to college. I kind of felt like I wasn't ready to go to college, if I'm quite honest. Like I may have been, you know, here in the UK, you know, you leave school at 16 and you go off to college then, and then do it till you're 18. And as a 16-year-old, I still felt like, mentally, I still felt like a 13, 14-year-old at the time. So like going to college felt really weird. I didn't feel like I was ready, really. And of course, you know, the subject that I chose, I wasn't interested in. I just randomly picked it. Kind of randomly picked it, but the sector, it was in construction. Because everyone was telling me, oh, get a trade under your belt, you know, that's what you should do, you know, you should get a trade under your belt. And I was just sort of like, that's what everyone was telling me, do that. And I didn't really have the confidence and the self-worth to actually think, what do I actually want to do? So I just sort of went ahead and just randomly picked a random construction trade, which happened to be bricklaying. I kind of picked it because where my confidence in my confidence weren't that great, intelligence confidence. I thought, there'd be very little. There'd be very little. I keep sort of having brain freezes. There'd be very little theory. That's it. I fucking hate this. It's a random moment. And mostly practical. So that's kind of the reason I chose it. But it turns out there's a lot more theory to it than I thought. But I somehow thought about maybe I wanted to sort of, you know, drop out, but I was just too nervous to drop out because I was disappointing my parents and that, and because I didn't know what else I wanted to study or do, so I just sort of just powered through and just got through it. And then once I got through it, got the qualification, I didn't really look around for an apprenticeship in bricklaying or anything like that. I just didn't really bother, really. You know, there were a few, there were maybe like 2 or 3 times I might have sent letters out, CVs out to building firms, but I wasn't persistent, and I thought normally if you really want to do something, and you'll be persistent in your quest to get that job, but I wasn't persistent in that. I never showed a keen, true interest in wanting to work in construction, and then of course, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I think the one thing that was always in my mind that I used to sort of fantasize about was like photography or something, or videography, or something to do with cameras, or or film sets. But I just didn't have the confidence to put myself out there because I felt like I wouldn't be accepted, in that world. So I was very sort of like, I was very you know, my self-esteem was very low, and you know, didn't think I'd be accepted in that sort of like that crew. So I just sort of, but I struggled to get, you know, just a normal job, doing whatever. A lot of my peers, I was seeing them, you know, get jobs here, there, full-time jobs, even if it was just like retail jobs, but they were getting like, they were able to get full-time retail jobs and do full-time hours. You know, and some of them were able to get salaried jobs. Yeah, but me, I just struggled to get that, really. No. Yeah. Just all I could get was just part-time bartending, you know. And bartending was all right, but you know, it was quite exhausting. Almost, you know, I sort of used to think of it as like a stage. You know, and I was like an actor, and I was like, when I'm behind that bar, I step into character, and performing. Yeah. But yeah, and here and you know, for the last 8 years, since I was 30, I've been working full time, but because of the family business, so I don't really have that much career, job, work experience, to be fair. And I feel like, in general, most like people my age would have quite a fair bit of experience in jobs, in, you know, like work experience in the various different sort of, you know what I mean. But no, not me. I've got very little experience, and that's what makes me hard. Like, you know, I'm really relying on the family business to be able to afford this flat. I only have this flat because of them, and I feel like sometimes I feel like because I'm family, they take advantage of me a bit, you know, because the whole setup with my role, it's a bit chaotic. You know, the yard that we rent off is off of another business, and down there we have 2 shipping containers, and with just 1 van, and I just feel like, if it wasn't me doing it, and I had to get someone who's an outsider, you know, most likely to be neurotypical, I can't see that person sticking around for long enough. So I feel, I know I shouldn't care if I were to leave, and it'd be my brother and my dad's issue to worry about, but I still care. I still worry of, you know, putting them in that sort of stress of, you know. But I've got to think about me. But at the moment, I don't know what that other job or that other thing that I could do that could, you know, pay me or earn me enough to be able to, you know, afford what I need to afford to pay for. So I feel a bit sort of stuck, kind of. Yeah, but that's sort of like, for me, my perspective on how my self-worth has gone since school and lately. And I get when something happens or I hear something that's a truth, I feel pretty low and shitty, and it makes me feel like, why can't I get a proper decent job on my own? You know, why is it, you know, yeah, just it gets me down. Yeah. But yeah, so I hope this video I hope anyone can find any relations to this video. I'd like to hear your stories, see your thoughts, because I don't know, yeah, because sometimes I feel a bit alone in my unique position. You know, there must be someone out there that's sort of in a similar sort of situation. So yeah, so yeah. So if you've watching it made it this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one. Bye.